Hello, good evening all. I am Mr. Rajesh Dabne and all of you are welcome in this lecture series. Today we are going to study about ecology with respect to mimicry. Now, it is very interesting point that we should know the mimicry, and it is very important with respect to our CSIR NET examination. Now, what is mimicry? It is very simple terminology. In mimicry, what happens that one organism mimics the characters of other organism in order to survive in the nature. In nature, in order to survive, the organisms or animals require food, shelter, and protection from their predator. In order to protect themselves from predator, many animals, including insects, have mimicry. So this is about mimicry. In mimicry, it is similarity between an organism and another organism or any other object. And other object may be belonging to same species or different species. It doesn't matter, but mimicry is a very well-known concept in the evolution, and this concept actually helps for organisms to protect themselves from the possible dangers that they have. And the mimicry increases the lifespan of animals on the earth. Now there are some types of mimicry. First type is Batesian mimicry. In this mimicry, the harmless mimic, here mimic means the animal which develops the characters of other animals. That is mimic. So harmless mimic poses as harmful. That means here actually we have two terminologies. First is mimic and second is a model. Mimic is an animal, as I said. It is an animal that develops the external characters like other animal to survive in the universe by protecting itself from predator. And another term is a model. Model is an animal whose characteristics are adopted by mimic. In this way, you must keep in mind the two terminologies, that is mimic and a model. Now, in a Batesian mimicry, what happens that if a particular animal is harmful, then this animal gets protected from the enemies or predators. But those animals which are harmless, they are not getting protected from the predators and they are being eaten with high amount as compared with the harmful ones. And hence, the harmless animals develop a strategy to develop external characters like harmful animal, and therefore they give birth to the Batesian mimicry. And in this mimicry, the harmless mimic that is which are really harmless and they don't provide harm to anybody. They get the characters of harmful mimics in order to escape from the predators. Uh, Take care that in evolution, in ecology, the animal eats to another animal which is not harmful. So harmful animals are not attacked by their predators generally. Okay, suppose I am a person, and in my room, if I have spoiled milk, then will I drink that? No, I will not drink that because it is harmful. Or if I have bread with fungi grown on it, will I take that in my breakfast? No, I will not take that in my breakfast because it is harmful. What I am saying, there is no any animal in the world that eats harmful substances or harmful food or harmful objects. Everybody wants harmless object. So instead of spoiled milk, I can drink a fresh boiled milk, or I can take the bread which is having no fungal growth. Like that, I will see my safety. I will see whether the food is safe for me or not, and I will take only safe food. Like this, any predator uh, takes harmless animals as a food with high amount as compared with the harmful animal, and hence these harmless animals develop their characters like harmful animals, and hence the predators don't attack on harmless animals also because of this Batesian mimicry. Now look at these examples. These are some pictures that represent Batesian mimicry, and here we have horflies and wasp beetles. These horflies and wasp beetles are actually harmless, but stinging wasps are harmful, and these horseflies and wasp beetle make a mimicry of stinging wasps. That means they appear like a stinging wasp and hence escape from the predators. Now next type is Mullerian mimicry. In this mimicry, what happens that uh, many harmful species or two harmful species, that is two or many harmful species, usually advertise that they are harmful in nature. That means many harmful species come together and they appear as they are harmful. They advertise that they are harmful so that the predator doesn't attack on. Is the heliconius butterflies. These are examples of heliconius butterflies, and these are found in the tropics of the Western Hemisphere on the Earth. And these are classical models for Mullerian mimicry. In this mimicry, two or many organisms come together and they advertise themselves as a harmful in order to get escape from their predators. It is like human beings. Why we are living in society? Suppose I am living in Pune. Why I am living in Pune? Why many people are living in Pune? Okay, in a group, they are living in a group in order to get protected from the predator. If I went to the forest, then the tiger will eat me, lion will eat me. Okay, the wild animals will eat me or they harm me. They will harm me if I lived alone in forest. Why I am living in Pune? Why I am living in a society? I am living in society in order to protect myself from my predators such as tiger, lion, etc. So same strategy is being used by these beautiful butterflies that they appear very harmful to the predators and hence the predator doesn't attack on them. So any type of association is for protection, and here in case of mimicry, the mimicry helps these good butterflies to survive from the attack of predator. Now another type is the Mertensian mimicry. Now try to understand this part. In the Mertensian mimicry, the organisms have evolved very nicely. Suppose that there is a snake. There is a snake which is less harmful. Okay, which is less harmful. Yeah, and there is another snake which is more harmful. Then what happens in order to get protected from the predator? The less harmful snake develops the characters. Okay, it develops the characters. Now see here. Mertensian mimicry means a deadly mimic resembles a less harmful but less lesson teaching model. That means here, if there is a snake which is very deadly, and what happens? The snake eats other organisms such as frog. Okay, and if there is another snake which is not deadly, then they are having particular characters. Okay, the snakes which are not deadly in nature, okay, will entertain the praise. Okay, the praise will not fear that snake which is not harmful. Okay, but the praise will uh, fear to the snake which is very harmful. So what happens here is that the uh, okay, what happens here is that a deadly mimic resembles are less harmful. That means The snake is harmful. Okay, the snake is deadly, but it appears that he is not deadly, so that the prey come to that snake due to its appearance. But as soon as the prey comes to the snake eats that prey. This is benefit of Mertensian mimicry, that the snake, which is very deadly in nature, appears like a less deadly, and therefore it eats the prey very easily because prey come closer to it due to this mimicry. Here is an example: the deadly Texas coral snake we have here. The deadly Texas coral snake, which name is Microrus tenor. This is deadly Texas coral snake, appeared like a less poisonous snake. So these are the bands on the snakes, and the such type of black and grayish bands, black, grayish, and yellowish bands on the snake is a characteristic of less harmful snake. But this is very deadly harmful snake. However, this snake has developed a characters like a less harmful snake. In this way, this is an example of Mertensian mimicry. Now let us talk about Wassmannian mimicry. In the Wassmannian mimicry, the insects or animals live together in the societies in order to uh, get protection from the predator. And particular predator attacks on particular prey. There is predator and prey relations. Now, suppose these are the insects, ants, termites, bees, and wasps. These live together so that the predator doesn't attack on them. For example, if there is predator of ants, the predator of ants will not attack on termites or bees or wasps. It will generally attack on ants only. But if ants get mixed with the termites, bees, and wasps, then the predator will not be able to understand which are the ants, and hence it will get confused, and as a result the ants will survive from the attack of predator. This is benefit of Wassmannian mimicry, that the uh, organism, the mimics, get survived from the attack because they live in a society, they live in a same nest or colony, and hence they are able to escape from the possible attack by predator. Now let us talk about the Vavillovian mimicry. This is mimicry which was first developed by scientist Vavilov from Russia, and according to him, it is the intelligent work from the weeds. We know that people do farming, and in the farm what happens that they grow the crops such as jowar crop or bajra crop, like that. But there are some weeds that grow in the same field, and what happens, the farmer go there and remove the weed from that farm. Okay, it is called as weeding out process. However, in order to survive in the farm, these weeds have developed their external characters like the crops. And this type of mimicry is called as Vavillovian mimicry. So it is very interesting mimicry. It is an example of the intelligence of weeds. In order to get survive in that farm, they develop a characters like the external features of real crops. And when the farmer goes to weed out the weeds, then farmer doesn't understand that this is crop and this is weed. Farmer thinks that, oh, this weed is also crop because this weed appears like a crop, and hence the farmer doesn't remove that weed, and hence the weed gets chance to survive, and it competes with the actual crop for nutrition, water, space, etc., and hence the productivity of the farmer gets hampered. In this way, this is about Vavillovian mimicry. Additionally, this is a diagram that talks about the false flax. There is a flax crop, and the left part is having false flax. That means it is a weed, and at right side, it is these are the parts of the actual flask flax. Okay, and the seeds of this weed and actual flask are not able to be separated from each other because they are very same. They appear very same. So look here, this is structure. This structure of actual crop is similar with this structure. So farmers are not able to understand which is weed and which is crop. Farmers think that the weed is crop because of external appearance. You can look at the structure. So this structure is similar with this structure. Okay, and this structure is similar with this structure. In this way, you will find similarity. Additionally, this structure is similar with this structure. That means weeds are similar like crops, and hence they are able to survive. So this is about Wagnerian mimicry. Now, which type of questions will be asked on this? The questions will be asked on the mimicry like this. In order to qualify CSIR NET examination, you should be able to solve the previous year questions very well. Okay, you should know which type of questions are asked. The qualifying examination is learning the solving questions. So you should know the pattern of questions so that you can solve it. And once you got this strategy, once you learn this technique to solve the questions, then it will be easy for you to qualify the CSIR NET examination. Okay, now look at this question. This is question. Which of the following is an example of mimicry? They have just asked the example of mimicry, and they have given 4 options. Now here we have to use the negative selection strategy. Okay, negative selection strategy is the strategy that is used to eliminate the unwanted answers and to put the correct or right answers. Now, first option that we have here is weeds and crops. We studied that the weeds compete with the crops by mimicry, and weeds appear like a crops because weeds want to live with the crops, and whichever the external features that the crops have are with the weeds. Weeds develop the similar characteristics like crops so that the farmers will get confused which is weed and which is crop, and hence they consider weeds as a crop and then they don't remove the weeds, and hence such type of weeds get survive in that agricultural area that we have already studied. And in conclusion, we came to know that the weeds and crops are examples of mimicry, and hence this option is correct because these are examples of mimicry. Now option B is horeflies and stinging wasps. Now these horeflies and stinging wasps are the insects that developed a mimicry as we studied. Now these horeflies are harmless. These are harmless. They are not able to harm the predator. They don't have mechanism to provide the injury to the predator, and hence the predator easily attacks on the horeflies. However, horeflies also want to survive, as all organisms and animals and plants want to survive in this universe. These horeflies are not exceptional cases. They want to survive in the universe, and hence they develop the external characteristics like stinging wasps. These stinging wasps are the harmful. They sting the predator, and after stinging, the predator gets injured, predator gets harmed, and the predator leaves this wasp. Therefore, the stinging wasps protect themselves from the predator very easily. However, these horeflies are not able to protect their predators easily, and hence, whichever the external features that the stinging wasp have are considered by horeflies, and these flies develop the same characters developed by stinging wasps. In this way, this is mimicry that provides protection to the horeflies from their predator. That means in universe, it is not easy for the organisms or animals to get survive in the universe. Everybody is required to fight for the fittest, and everybody is required to evolve themselves. Evolve themselves to get a good fit in the universe. Since these are the examples of mimicry, this option is also correct. Now let us talk about option C. It is saying that neither A nor B. That means this option is rejecting both above options, but we know that both above options are correct, and hence the option C gets eliminated. Now there is option D. Option D is saying that both A and B are correct. Okay. As we know that option E is correct and option B is also correct. Therefore, option D is correct because it is saying both A and B are correct. In this way, you can prepare for CSIR NET examination, and it is very easy to qualify this examination. What happens that many questions are repeated, and many areas are also repeated. So you must know on which areas the questions are being asked. You will come to know this after when you will solve the questions. And once you got the area on which questions are asked, make the areas very perfect, become a masterpiece in these areas. And as a result, in future, if the questions are asked on the same area, same sections, then I'm sure that you will be able to solve the questions and qualify the examination. The students who here may be qualifying the examination, they understood the areas and questions, on which the the examination committee focuses. And once you understood those things, then uh, qualifying the examination will be your a cup of tea. Okay, with this we stop here, and I hope that you will do better in your examination preparation, and I wish you very good luck to all of you for your future career and your examination. With this, we stop here, and thank you all. Okay, bye.